Greetings. Greetings, Makadimi Salibonani. I hope you are all well and had a wonderful week. Welcome back, my High Life Foundation family, to yet another exciting session on Young and Dynamic. My name is Grace Tinotenda Mashingaize, all the way from Gobulawai, Gontutu Ziatunga. I am honored to be your MC for today. Allow me to greet our HLF officials. We welcome you to this session and we really appreciate the opportunity to be in this meeting, to learn and to be enriched. All protocol observed. Allow me to also say good afternoon, my graduates, our high flyers, those who graduated at NAS yesterday. Congratulations, guys. You are indeed an inspiration to all of us. As we are beginning our session, allow me to leave this time to Governor Sufficient, who is going to give us our opening prayer.
Oh, thank you, Grace. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and happy Sabbath. My name is Mfia Nodo. I shall be taking you through the word of prayer. Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, we come to you this afternoon. We want to thank you for the gift of life. We want to thank you for your love. You give us another opportunity. You died on the cross that we may see heaven. Help us to live your will. We desire to be called by your name. We desire to stand for what is right and fight for what is right. I want to pray as we are going into this session. We are praying for a smooth and loving session. Be with the speaker, be with the listeners, and all the technical guys behind the scenes. Be with us. You allowed us to convey. You saw it necessary. Please be with us. Send your angels and guard Satan from all the dangers he wanted to possess during this session. We pray all this in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Governor. Thank you. Good afternoon once again to us all. I hope you had a wonderful week. If you can type in the chat box, tell us where you're connected from. I'm connected from Blawayo. As I said, I could start speaking Sindebele for you right now. I hope we haven't forgotten our housekeeping rules. Remember to have your notebook and your pen so that you take down notes, and also remember to keep your microphone muted at all times so that you do not disturb the session. I'm seeing people from Harare. I'm seeing people from Mashonaland West. Welcome everybody connected online. How many have seen the poster for today's session? If you have, just like me, you might have thought to yourself, in a world where everybody is striving to stand out, you must be wondering too, what can I do to make sure that I stand out as an individual? Well, dear friend, as I already said, grab your notebook and your pen because we are about to find the answer today. Today, we're going to have a session on personal branding. And trust me, I've been in one of these sessions and they are well enriching. When we leave, you're going to know your brand, you're going to know your values, you're going to know how to allow your story to influence your future. So let us put our hands together. Let us give a drum roll as I leave time to our speaker for today, the branding manager for Higher Life Foundation, Mr. Ruramai Mataranyika. Over to you, Sir.
Thank you so much, Grace. Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon to any of our executives that have joined here. Good afternoon to our wine dynamic leadership, our governors, and also good afternoon to my colleagues from High Life Foundation. It's such an honor to be presenting to you guys. This is really my passion. So each time I get to speak on what I love the most, I feel very honored. I feel excited. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm going to gently ask that people turn on their cameras because this is a digital platform. I really want to feed off of your energy, and I'm sure that you also feed off of my energy also. So I know that our MC Grace said that we should keep our mics muted. So with the power vested in you, Grace, Dr. Grace, rather, may I break that rule for maybe like 2 minutes? I want to do a quick exercise just to break the ice. I want people to unmute, and then you can quickly just call out one thing that you value. So I'm going to give you a minute, not even a minute, like 10 seconds. Just unmute, and I need everyone to unmute at the same time. So unmute and just say something that you value. So 1, 2, 3, go. Whilst I set up my presentation. I don't hear anyone.
I value God. I value my...
No. I need everyone to speak at the same time. Everyone to speak at the same time.
Okay,
So
I think
my count. I'm going to do my I'm going to do my countdown again. In 5 seconds, everyone has to unmute. So literally everyone has to unmute, and you have to tell us what you value.
All right. So what we'll need to do, we'll need to change our settings because we put settings where we don't allow anyone to unmute.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I'm going ahead to change those settings, allow participants to unmute themselves. Right.
Okay.
So before I can hand it over to you, Mr. Mataranyika, let me just test run. Can we please unmute, all of us? Please unmute if you can. Right, I can see that people can unmute. Ah, perfect. Ah, lovely. I can see that people can unmute themselves now. Awesome. Right.
All right.
So yeah, people can now unmute themselves.
Thanks so much, Pastor Menashe. So I'm going to do my countdown again. And then in 5 seconds, I can hear myself. Then everyone can just unmute and see what they value. So 5, 4, 3, 2.
Family.
What?
Family.
Love.
Family.
God.
Parents. Father.
Family. Music.
We.
Oh, you're muted, Ms. Mataranyika.
Yeah. So thank you so much. That was just a quick exercise to get people to and I'm just going to put my timer to just speak on what they value. So can anyone just type in the chat if they heard a value that they also value? So if you heard somebody talk about cars, and you feel like you value cars, feel free to just type in the chat if you heard that value. And I'm just going to quickly check. All right. Somebody said, I heard family. All right. And that's Taonga. Somebody said God, family and God. All right. Life and freedom. I value God and my family's spiritual growth. from Jacinth. Herbert says, Brandon says, God. Oh, Panashe Pemua said he values his girlfriend. All right. That's an interesting one. But I think we're all young here. Love, peace, and tranquility. All right. Okay, great stuff. So I just wanted us to, we this is just to start off. We go through this life valuing things, valuing processes, valuing objects. And it's very important that we're very clear about that. And there's a lot of noise that's happening. There's a lot of people who are talking and speaking about their values. So it's also important to listen out and to look out for the things that you value also, so that you can align with those people. So this is a teaser of what we're going to talk about in my presentation. I've got another teaser. So feel free to type again in the chat. Why did the chicken cross the road? So does anyone know why the chicken crossed the road? There's one common reason. So feel free to type in why the chicken crossed the road. I see Dr. Grace is smiling. Does it have anything to do with grilled chicken? Thank you, and thank you so much, Dr. Grace, for that smile, for engaging. It's really important.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to think of an answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can type in the chat, why do you think the chicken crossed the road? All right, so here we've got, Pastor Menashe said, I'm shaking my head right now. Please get the engineering degree first, and then you can come and talk to me about that. To get to the other side, I think that's definitely the most common reason why people think the chicken crossed the road. I see several people are saying that to see what's on the other side, to pick some food, because it was a road run. I like that one. I really like that one. Yeah. In most cases, the chicken crosses the road because it's just running away. Curiosity. I think that one is also good. So this is why I think the chicken crossed the road, to be rebranded and for a new look and great taste. So hopefully after this session, you guys will have an idea of how you look and how you want to look, and not necessarily taste great, but look better, think better, position yourselves a lot more. We had our first teaser where people were just calling out their values. How then can we use those values for us to have a new look, to have a great taste? I think that's very, very important. So that's why I think the chicken crossed the road. I don't know if there's anyone who agrees with that, to show off its excellent dance moves. Maybe it was being chased. It's Christmas season, definitely. To change the status quo. So I like that person now is thinking outside the box of the reason why the chicken crossed the road. So personal branding for me, when I got into this, the one thing that I really understood the most is your values. If your values are very, very clear, if your values are well embedded within your day-to-day living, if your values are well communicated, if you use the right channels and the right mediums, there's a big difference between channels and mediums. I think you'll do the most for yourself. So everything that we're going to talk about, I want you to remember that your values are very, very important. And your values are the foundation of who you are, of what you do, how you do it, why you do it, when you do it. I always say, if you look at me and you see the way I express myself, the way I talk, the things I laugh at, the things I'm passionate about, the trims and everything, that's all on the surface. That's all on the surface. There are things that I value that then drive me to do the things that I do. And hence why I asked you all to call out what you value. So if you value family, you're the kind of person that is always going to be checking on your family members. Whatever little bit that you've got, you're going to split it and send to Gogo, send to Mama, send to Ubaba, as Grace would say. Sorry, Dr. Grace, I'm going to pick on you the whole session. If you value God, then you prioritize God before everything else. If you really, really value, and it's important for us to really internalize this and really think about this, because the things that you value are very important. If you act in a certain way, if you've ever thought, okay, I'm always being drawn towards these things, I'm always being drawn towards this direction, and that's because of the things that you value. To simplify it, the things that you value are things that you love without thinking. Is there, for some of you, I heard there's an engineer. Oh yeah, Panache. I'm sure would catch Panache coding late in the night. We'll catch him, I don't know if it's building his codes or working on his codes all through the night. And in the next morning, he's back at it and he's coding because he loves that. Now, love is a different kind of word. So we work with value. So the things that you value are really the foundation, and they ensure consistency. They should ensure consistency. And they help to build trust and credibility, because the things that you value aligned with your audiences, your stakeholders, your families, your work colleagues, your schooling colleagues. It builds that trust. Out of that, and Pastor Menashe will help me, I think the word says, out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the things that you value, that's when the expression comes out. So your expression is not just random. I would want you to really take time and think about the things that you value and how they've affected your expression. Now, expression, like I said, is how you talk, how you act, how you dress. If you value hygiene, do you make sure that you brush your teeth, you bath yourself, you make sure you are smelling good whichever way, you dress well, I think I said that, and you go out there looking your best. It's because you value looking good. So for you guys to build a strong, and we're talking about personal branding. I know my presentation is really speaking to an organization, but it definitely speaks to individuals. So to build a strong and lasting brand, it's important to focus, number one, on your values, and then your identity. And your identity is then split into several things that are listed here. So your symbols, your colors, and your images. And this can just represent, the way you act, the way you dress, and the way you talk. These layers work together to shape your identity and your impact. I think most importantly, your impact. Your impact is the most important thing. So moving on. So we spoke about your value system. So your value system is the foundation. And I think it's important that we go through it from the point of an organization, because I think there are very few people who have sat down and written down what they value. If there is somebody, please type in the chat like your 6, 7, 8 standard values, because values don't change. They might evolve over the years, but they don't really change. It's easy to give this as an example from an organization point of view, because there's practicality to it. Not that there isn't practicality as an individual, but it's easier to really show that as an organization. All right, I'm just going to check the chat. To meet your friends, following, amazing, following. Matthew 12, verse 34. Thank you, Pastor, for that, for the Bible quote. All right. So that's our chat. So your value system also helps to guide your decisions. So when you guys see High Life Foundation taking up a specific route, maybe in global health, a specific track with Young and Dynamic, a specific track with Star Leadership Academy for those who know it, changing maybe a structure or a process. This is based off of their values. The way High Life Foundation's identity is shaped is also based on their values. And you find that my presentation, I'm really going to hammer on the values. Everything else is really just going to be, fast-tracked. I cannot express how important it is for you to be very, very clear on the things that you valued. Because without that, you're just going to go with the wind. You're going to make decisions based on trends, based on gossip, on news, whatever is happening or popping at that time. Excuse my youth lingo. I am a bit old. But also, your values also attract like-minded people. So let's pick on Panache. If Panache values family, Panache values integrity, if Panache values accountability, I would suspect that his girlfriend, and I'm sorry, Panache, but you're going to have a lengthy conversation with Pastor Panache. I would suspect that he also expects his girlfriend to value those things. Because if they don't value those things together, don't worry, Panache, she's your soon-to-be wife. Next time, call her your soon-to-be wife. If she doesn't value that, you're always going to clash because there's a lack of integrity. There is no passion and no drive for family. I think I mentioned family. There's no accountability in the relationship. And that really messes things up. I think there's another verse that talks about do not be unequally yoked. And Pastor Menashe, please help me. That's really the idea, because you as an individual, you value God, you value love and forgiveness and compassion. If you're then put in the same Gejo, Dr. Grace put in the chat what Gejo is in Ndebele. And Gejo is your that thing that you put over the cows and then they plow. If you speak any other language, please put in the chat what it is in your language. If you're not valuing the same things, then one bull is going this way, the other one is going this way, and there isn't any progress. So your value system is very important. It's the foundation of your brand. And all of you are brands as individuals. You are all brands. All organizations get their values from individuals. If you look at Apple, the way Apple was set up is because of the things that Steve Jobs valued. He valued being different. He didn't want to align with the norms. And hence Apple's tagline is think different. Values ensure consistent messaging. If I'm going to come on this platform and say I value style, which I do, and then next time I come on the platform and I say, oh, you know what? I value ruggedness. I'm going to confuse you. You won't resonate with me. You won't catch on to my message because I'm consistently changing. If High Life Foundation first initially says we value responsive leadership, and they go and don't intentionally put effort into Star Leadership Academy or even into Young and Dynamic, the reason why there's Young and Dynamic is because High Life Foundation values responsive leadership. That's why they Star Leadership Academy, because of the things that they value. A strong value system builds credibility. I mentioned this, and trust amongst your stakeholders. You guys have got businesses. You're entrepreneurs. Some of you are leaders of influence. You influence certain circles. how can you build trust with those stakeholders if you don't have a clear value system? Values help you as an individual and as organizations to connect emotionally with, for organizations and stakeholders to connect with you emotionally and to your story. So when your values are really clear out there, I value love, I value love. Okay, let me say, I value style, I value style. Everyone who values style also with me will connect with that on a very emotional point of view. And a clear value system, there has to be clarity. Sets you apart from others. Another thing that I was looking for when you're calling out, I wanted to hear, how different are we all as we call that out? It's very important because the God, okay, let me not use that one. What you value in family, Tawonga, might be different from what I value when I say family. What I value when I say faith in God might be different from what Dr. Grace values when you say. So that helps you, especially as an organization, as a brand, for you to stand out. I've got here World Vision. They value being Christian stewards. They're committed to the poor. They value people, partners, and responsiveness. I want you to also think of some of the organizations that, and you can write this down, that have got values that you feel resonate with you. And this is a way of you to start either engaging with them, offering yourself as a volunteer, or also learning from their models and their activities. It doesn't have to be a humanitarian or philanthropic organization. It might just be a tech organization. You can look at, what can I say? For example, Apple, and they say they value being different. And as you see that, you can also consistently be different. All right, I'm just going to check the chat again. Pastor Nashi says his values are truth, honesty, integrity, faith in God, loyalty, knowledge, and progress. I can tell you that, and you can see how those three came across. I can tell you that Pastor Nashi is always standing for the truth, honesty, and integrity. I've known him for quite a while. Jacinth said integrity, growth. I also value growth. I'm driven by growth. If I find myself just staying in the same place for too long, I get agitated. I used to go through this process subconsciously that towards the end of the year, I'll start to assess myself. I just start assessing myself. And initially, I would just be disgruntled. I'll just be like, I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy with my job. Until I realized that, no, it's my system telling me you need to grow. What are you going to do next year that's different from this year? So what people call, New Year's resolutions, I'll start having New Year's disgruntlement in October, November, and prepare for that in the next year. Panache is redeeming himself. He values community, competency, contribution, creativity. His values are in chronology, in alphabetical order. I like that. Determination, fairness, and faith. You see, use it, God will, Ndlovu posted his values and somebody reacted to those. So maybe reach out to that person and you could come up with something. Pid-size values also got a thumbs up. Pastor Manashi gave us the verse, to not be unequally yoked. Labo abalalela imilayo yake bahlala kuye laye kubo. My Ndebele is getting bad. I used to speak a bit of Ndebele some time back. And he that keepeth his commandments dwelleth in him, and he in him, and hereby we know that he abideth in us by the Spirit which he hath given us. Thank you so much. Yes, we're looking for Gejo in the chat. Yes. Yeah, no, Panache. Yeah, and yeah, we don't know which Panache. All right, so we move over to our next slide. So how can we then express ourselves? It's very important that we express ourselves. So we're going to do a quick exercise. And what I want for you to do, and I'm going to give an example. Let me just bring back my camera so that I can see you guys. Dr. Grace, I'm going to work with your expressions to know if I'm explaining clearly. Yeah. So,
Okay, that's all right.
yeah. So the quick exercise, and Dr. Grace, I think you went through this one, so you don't have to do anything. So I want you to get a piece of paper. All right. Get a piece of paper. All right. And even if it's a book like Dr. Grace's, it's totally fine because it's split into two. Just make sure it's blank. Right. There's my piece of paper. You can fold it in half, or you can just draw a line right in the center. The reason why we fold it in half is because we want to really draw the line in the center. So there's my piece of paper. If you've got a book like Dr. Grace, then you know you've got two sides. You've got one side and the other side. All right. And then, Dr. Grace, can I put you on the spot and you can explain what the exercise is?
It's okay.
No, it's fine. All right. So on one side, both sides actually, I want you to draw a circle, right? I want you to draw your circle. And it's going to be interesting because I just realized this process needs us to be in person. But that's totally fine. What I'll do is this is going to be a homework. Yeah, this is going to be a homework. So you've got two circles. I hope you can see the two circles, right? So in the first circle, I want you to draw your icon, right? I'm going to give you an example. So I've drawn an icon here. I think that looks like the Star of David, or it's just a star. I've drawn my icon there, right? And then in the second circle, just write down your values. So for those who've written down their values, you guys are great. All you need to do is just copy your values and then put them in there. So I'm putting my values in here. And all right. So I've got my icon and my values. So for those who can't see my values, I put in style. Style is my number one. I've got family. I value family quite a lot. I've put God in there. Africa. I'm very passionate about Africa. Branding and creativity. All right. So your homework is I'd want you guys to go out there, and it's going to be interesting because you're going to do this with people who are not necessarily in this presentation. Go out there and have a person to sign, right? They either sign, they can sign on both sides or just on one side. So if a person resonates or likes your icon, they just sign out there. So there's a signature out there, right? And if they resonate with your values, they can sign out there. But the thing is, you're not going to explain. You're just handing it over to them. Ask them, do they resonate with your icon? If they do, they sign. If they don't have to sign. Don't force them. And then if they do resonate with your values, with any one of your values, if somebody says, oh, I resonate with style, then they sign. So as you can see, I've now got two signatures on my values. All right. So that's our home. So moving forward, your values, like we said, they're very important. They're very important because they help you to make decisions. They inform how you express yourself. And one of the things that you want to express yourself is through your icon, through your symbols. And if you guys have got businesses, this is really perfect for you as entrepreneurs. This is really perfect for you. So before you start thinking about creating a logo for your business, think first about your brand. Before you start thinking about having an icon or a symbol for you as an individual, first think about your values. So as you can see, we've got symbols. Symbols are powerful tools that represent you or your organization's values. So your square represents stability, your circle represents community, completion, and harmony. Your triangle represents direction. Can anyone type in the chat one of the most common triangle symbol that we've been using for years and years? And that represents, I guess, motion in a way. I'm checking the chat. Literally, we've got this symbol almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. I'll give you a hint. It's even on your remote. It's on your phone. You guys know this symbol. It's ridiculous. Can anyone type in the chat? You're probably right. There we go. Begisipo Mpofu, play and next. Definitely. So you see how symbols are very important and they can define an era. The send icon, yes. Back, definitely. There's even fast forward and rewind. So symbols really play a pivotal role. But what we want is to make sure that our symbols are aligned to our values. If your symbol is essentially your face, your icon, your the element that is used to recognize you, if that is not aligned to your values, then it can just mean anything. You've got your natural balance and refreshment, you've got excellence, and you've also got the diverse one, the unique ones that are free-formed. All right. Let me just check. All right. I just got a message from somebody who's participating on the channel. So, and I like to always think globally, because one of my biggest pains is, in Africa, we don't go through intentional branding processes. I always ask people, and I can see one gentleman here, PK Flow. PK Flow, is that your little sister in the background? Feel free to unmute. Can you find your unmute button, or should we unmute for you?
Yes,
There
that's
we
my little sister.
That's your little sister. If I was to ask your little sister, call her back.
Okay, come.
Call her back.
All right. Here she is.
Hi. What's your name?
Makatendekaisha.
Sorry?
Makatendekaisha.
Makatendekaisha. So we'll call you Maka. Maka, if I was to ask you right now, if aliens were to come on Earth, which superhero would save us? The one you're thinking about right now, which superhero would save us?
Superman.
I literally have goosebumps. And that's literally the superhero that I always talk about. But if you really think about it, Superman is a brand. What colors does Superman have, Maka? What color
Blue
is
and
his suit? Blue and what?
And red.
Blue and red. What are the colors of the American flag?
Blue, red, and white.
Blue, red, and white. Superman is literally a branding project. It's literally a branding. Thanks so much, Maka. Let's snap our fingers for Maka. Thanks so much, Maka. Superman is a branding project. Every little child right now, if you ask them, which superhero would come and save us if aliens were to come on Earth? Even the president that would speak to those aliens would be an American president. So these are countries that are very intentional about their branding. Why didn't Maka say Shaka Zulu? Why didn't she say Chamunoro or Chaminuka or Lobengula? And that's because we've taken lightly where we come from, our own history, our own background, and we haven't positioned those things intentionally for them to be branding elements, not only just in our current, but in as a representation of our future. Thanks so much to Marka. She really proved. If she had said anyone else, I wouldn't have gotten that one right. She could have said Batman, but I always say Superman. And Superman is really fitting because he does wear the red, blue, and white from the American flag. So it's very important for us to know that we're all brands. We're all brands that are representing ourselves, that are representing our values, that are representing our ideas, the solutions. PK, there's an issue that's happening in your community, and you're the only person who can solve that. And once you solve that and you present that in the right way and you get funding, that becomes international. So I always say that Nike is not an international brand. It's an American brand that has managed to position itself internationally. So if PK has got his own brand, whether it's a clothing brand or a shoe brand, and he manages to build it right and position it, PK's brand is also an international brand. Overseas is not just us flying from Zimbabwe to the United States. Overseas is also an American flying from the United States to Zimbabwe. We have to change that mindset. So we really have to build our brands intentionally and to know the impact of that. And hence why your symbol is very important. Your values are very important. And in this case, even your tagline, when you hear just do it, you immediately know that it's Nike. You don't even need to see the icon. If you just see the icon, you know it's Nike. Sometimes even when you see their adverts, when you see their videos, you immediately know that it's Nike because they are putting very specific steps, taking very specific steps and taking very specific decisions that inform how they create their videos. If you go and watch, and I want you to go and watch Nike videos, you will hardly see their shoes and their clothing. You see the passion, you see the drive, you see that just do it behavior. So let's bear that in mind. So your logo visually represents your mission and your values, giving a face to you as an individual and also your organization. Nike represents speed, movement, power. It captures the spirit of athleticism. So Nike is more than just clothing. It's about the spirit of athleticism. So your values really define who you are. All right. Whenever you hear digital lifestyle, we all know it's Econet, right? I'm living the difference. We've been hearing their jingle in stores, okay, Pick and Pay. Once it starts, I'm living the difference, even any, you immediately know that's Econet. So maybe you can write down, not maybe, just think about some of the brands that when you hear either their phrase or when you see their icon or when you see something about them, the images that they use, it represents them. Again, it's represent Econet's values are around pioneering technology. So hence you see they're always pushing that. They're always pushing that. I had the privilege of the drone show that happened last year, the agricultural show. I can tell you, and this is the truth, Pastor Menashe, this is the truth. I literally was the Zimbabwean connect to, well, obviously working with the agency. I was working with the agency that did the whole drone show. And you could see the passion in the Econet staff as we were working on this project. They were driving for more, driving to the edge to say, this agricultural show, which, last year's, it has to be different because they're thriving for technology. So think about those organizations and how you can also align to those organizations as an individual. So you also want to think about the colors. I had a red plate growing up. If my mom put food in another plate, I would force her to put it into the red plate because I love that plate. And I'm sure a lot of you can tell that I'm very passionate. I value passion and just that drive. So I resonate a lot with red. Your colors don't come because you want to express something. Your colors come after what you value. So colors communicate your emotions and they create associations. So with people who are also passionate, And as you show passion through your colors, you also create those associations. They definitely complement your values. I'm sure you can see every single slide. I keep on referring to the colors. Purple represents wealth, justice, spirituality, royalty. For all the men there who think that you can't wear pink or you can't have pink, pink also represents creativity, intuition, respect. So maybe the tough men can rethink their color range. And you can also have a range of colors as you represent yourself as an individual. Just checking my time. Another important way of representing yourself or communicating your values is through images. You know, images are very important. And you look at an organizational level, here I've got 3 images that are coming from, and thank you guys so much. I see the chat box is buzzing. We value, you know, early years education. We value young individuals that you can see there. That's why we're spending time to speak with you. We value, you know, the marginalized. We want to serve them and to uplift their souls. I'm just going to quickly check. Oh, yes. Maka, thanks so much to Maka. Shaka Zulu would probably kill us. You'd be surprised that if you look at even Superman, Superman grew up in an American hometown, and he's also got a lot of collateral damage to his name. If you watch all his movies, he's never saved a town or a city without a lot of collateral damage, without a lot of deaths coming from the work that he does. It's just his positioning, his brand positioning. He was just positioned to be a hero no matter what. So maybe start to rethink, Michael David, what Shaka Zulu means for you. The cow horn formation would never be mentioned if it wasn't for Shaka Zulu. He was a brilliant person. Yes, there's a lot that comes with him. And maybe that's what was presented to us. We can reimagine that story around Shaka Zulu. Godwill says, true marketing, advertising, and branding plays a huge part in developing our habits. That is so true. That is so true, Godwill. So true. Monashe Z says, following. Pastor Monashe, forgive me. I haven't been on Young Dynamic for the longest. I'm not sure what following means, but I'm sure it's a good thing. Positioning is very important. Inspired to change your world. Yes, the moment you hear inspired to change your world, you immediately know that it's Econet. Labels, Diamonds FM. Yeah. So your images are very important. Sorry, let me just quickly go back because it's going to help to explain the next couple of slides. So also think about how you capture yourself, you know, how your video looks, you know, how your videos are taken. They also communicate your values. They communicate, you know, what you uphold. So it's very, very important that you understand the importance of imagery in your identity. Why are we talking about all these things? The symbols, the colors, even fonts and taglines? It's because we're in a digital era. Some would call it the fourth industrial revolution. And we want to communicate on social platforms. It's very important that we communicate on social platforms. And while we communicate, we want to communicate our values. That's number one. And we also want to communicate the impact that we've done. All of you here, I assume, are leaders of influence. So it's important that you're using the right colors, you're using the right symbols in communicating your personal brand or even your organization's brand. It's very important that you use the right images that also represent your brand. And as you can see here, I'm showing mostly organizations. You've got the Highlight Foundation post there, which is beautiful because it's showing a collaboration between Highlight Foundation, SLA, Simba, and because we value the same things. And hence, that post rather, is cohesive. And then you've got our country director there with the shades. He's the country director for High Life Foundation. He's wearing an Akello t-shirt, and he's in the United States at the Google offices. So he knows that Akello values technology. He took the time to make the decision to go with an Akello t-shirt and go to Google. He probably had conversations with tech experts, tech individuals at Google whilst wearing the Akello, and he spoke on behalf of Akello. So the message of Akello is out there because of a person who understands what Akello represents, what Akello values. And this person, our country director, went to Google, another tech brand, and brought those together. So that alignment is very important. And also we've got here Star Leadership Academy. We've got Sidrine and Tawonga. I think there is Jacinth. I think I saw her in the chat. And they're speaking about the things that they value and the experiences that they went through. And hence Star Leadership Academy then reposted. So as you're putting out your content and you want top organizations to either engage with your content or to speak with you or to reach out to you, also think about the things that they value. So branding helps with collaboration, and this increases your visibility. And sorry about the funding, but yeah, you could get funding from that. So it's important that you create relevant and engaging content that's aligned to your values. You can scan the QR code so that you can read more on how to produce relevant and engaging content. Whilst you're scanning, I'm just going to quickly check the chat. Superman, the sacrificial hero, definitely. I do not know that colors have values that they carry. Definitely your colors come from your values and they should align with your values. Sure, I believe that Shaka Zulu was also an amazing person, but that side of him was never exposed. It's because of that lack of intentional branding and positioning. If we take the time to position him in the right way, we've only got one movie of Shaka Zulu and it didn't end well. But we've got series and series of Superman. And that is not good. All right. As I close, so as an individual, because you're going to create this brand, and so what? This brand is going to be communicated a lot more on social media. I mentioned it before. So use social media to share your story and to share the impact of the work that you've done. I trust that each and every one of you has done so much within your communities. You have uplifted so many people. So first, think about your values. Think about your icons, your symbols. Think about your colors, your fonts, your tagline. And that will help you to put out enriching, engaging, and emotionally connecting social media content. I've got 1 minute left. Dr. Grace, if you can give me like 2 minutes, I'm almost done. And I'll quickly browse through this. This is just for you to have an understanding of the platforms that you use. And I know you use these platforms quite a lot. Your Facebook is really for you to really tell a story, connect to people. Facebook is the most used platform in Africa. So use your Facebook to communicate your story. So what I expect after this session, there is there's now 196. There's 196 people. I want you to tell us about the impact that you're doing based on your values. And I want you to post that and tag the organizations that align with your values. If High Life Foundation is that organization, feel free to tag it. So whether it's in a Facebook post, it's on a Twitter post, if you're going to do a video and you put it up on your YouTube, that's totally fine. On Instagram. So Facebook is where you talk about, I like certain things. Sorry, my time is up now. I like certain things. So you talk about, you like this, you value this, I value this. Instagram is just to give an update. I had a powerful session on Young and Dynamic, #branding at High Life Foundation. YouTube is where we want to watch your videos about the impact that you're doing out there. What are you doing? Show us what you're doing. Instagram, those images, up to 10, a carousel, maybe it's your garden and this garden is feeding, people within your community. use that to build on your personal brand. And this is how you put out your personal brand. And don't talk about yourself all the time. Branding is really never about yourself. It's about the work that you do for others. And then LinkedIn is your skills. What are your skills? How can your skills help somebody out? And then obviously TikTok is where you engage in it's a bit more informal, engage in your challenges, and you talk about what you value. So your story is powerful. I'm done. I guess I don't need those 2 minutes, Dr. Grace. Your story is powerful. Each and every one of you, as a brand, your story is powerful. So let your branding amplify it. Shaka Zulu's story is very powerful, but because there's no branding behind it, he's just lost in the wind. And it will never set him apart. I'm sure there's several other historic Africa is so diverse, Zimbabwean, Kenyan heroes, Ndebele, Shona, that just need a touch of branding, and that will amplify their stories and set them apart. So recap, your values are important as part of your personal branding because they build trust and credibility. If you're going to leave here and forget what personal branding is, don't forget what values are, because that's really the core of personal branding. Trust and credibility. Your values help to build trust and credibility. Differentiation and visibility. You can only be seen if your brand is distinct and if they're very clear about your values. It increases engagement and loyalty. People will only engage with you if they really understand your values and they connect emotionally with that. Fundraising and partnerships, sorry about that. But yeah, if you have got a business and you want to fundraise and you've got partnerships, you want to create partnerships, you can only do that if you're very clear on your values. And mission alignment. Have you ever worked with someone where, they seem good at what they do, they're the best tech individual, but they're not aligning with you, they're just off? It's because your values are not aligned. So it's not every expert that you want to align with. It's people that have got the same values as yours. And also global reach. You're going to reach so many more people through a very clear and emotionally inspiring value system. With that being said, just think about, what you can do to make your brand stand out and to make it relevant. Once again, thank you so much, guys. It's such an honor to speak to young people. It's such an honor to speak about the things that I'm passionate about and the things that I value. Thank you so much, Dr. Grace. Thank you so much to the Young and Dynamic leadership. And thank you so much to Pastor Menashe and your team, and also to our executives and our patrons. I hand over back to you, Dr. Grace.
Wow, this was an absolutely amazing session. Somebody just said in the chat box that the topic of personal branding has been hammered very well. And I totally agree. By the way, when people say following, it means we are together with you. We are following. Yeah, so this session has really challenged me to go back home and think. I was actually taking down notes to think, what are my values? How are the things that I like shaping my expression? And where are my values driving me? And also to go and align with people and organizations that have the same values as me so that I can grow. Thank you so much. It was an amazing session. As we are concluding our session, I would like to remind us all to go and follow and like all our social media pages and to also follow Global Intercessors online. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'm sure you can agree that we had an amazing session. See you next time, same place, same time. Goodbye.
I've been looking so honestly vibe, see. Dina Jesu, I was lost, but he found me. Now I'm walking in the valley of the shadow of death.